Hello, and welcome to day 5 of 100 Days of Soulforce. Today we're going to be talking about playing from the heart, what that really means. This is one of my favorite things to teach, to talk about, to do, and it's because this is what makes music, what makes art come alive. This is the difference between getting the notes right and real music, getting the moves right and real dance, just saying the right words and real acting. Something that this is like the magic sauce that brings it all alive. And I bet you could see my excitement here, right? It's so much fun to see this at work. So I'm really excited to share some of this with you today. There's a whole chapter in my book, upcoming book on playing from the heart, where I outline exactly how to do it and I give a system for implementing it and what to think about and what to do, what not to do. And I'm going to be sharing some of those insights with you today in this little video. So my name is Joseph Arnold. I'm a violinist, Alexander technique teacher, and founder of the Soulforce Arts Academy. And playing from the heart is one of the 6 pillars of what it means to be a Soulforce artist. And it's so central because it's the thing that ties everything together. It's the joy of performing. It's the joy, it's the what our audiences most want to receive. So to begin with, I'm going to talk about what playing from the heart isn't. There's a lot of confusion about expressivity in the performing arts world. Yeah, I think in general, in the arts world. Um, yeah, there's a basic confusion about technique and heart. When, especially for us conservatory trained folks, but even in just regular lessons that you get when you're a kid, most of what you focus on is technique. You learn how to play in tune or how to do this kind of technique or that kind of technique, whatever it is that you do. And you don't really learn methods of how to connect to hear while you play. It's seen as something spontaneous, or like some people just have it, and some people don't, or it's something like, or it's seen as something that you can't really teach, or it's just disregarded, or it's mistaken for things like um, techniques of expression. Playing from the heart is not applying yet another technique of expression, whatever that might be. Or you build this scaffolding of mechanics for playing something, and only at the end of building this scaffolding do you put a tiny layer of expressivity on top. And all of those ways of thinking they're misconceptions. This is not the way to Soulforce. This is not what our hearts long for. Why do we get into the arts? Is it to assemble a structure of mechanics? Is it to be able to get the notes right? Is it to acquire an assemblage of skills? Is this really why you get in the arts? No. And yet, nobody's really teaching this directly. There are many gifted teachers out there, no doubt, who do know about this and who are, I don't know many of them, so I'm guessing there are teachers who have this capacity as well. I certainly cannot be the only one. But I suspect that this longing exists in you, this longing to play from the heart, like really play from the heart, and to be able to teach this to your students and to infuse life, infuse heart into everything that you do. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about this today. Exactly how to do this. Okay, so first you need to know about your inner audience member. Your inner audience member is the part of you that takes in a performance, whether it's yours or somebody else's, and feels certain ways about it. So the question I sometimes ask my students in our lessons is, when you hear a piece of music that you like, how do you know that you like it? Or if you hear a piece of music that you don't like, what in your experience tells you that you don't like it? Usually there's a feeling, and usually somewhere in your body, right? When you like it, you feel more open, more like you want to move, or there's more pleasant sensations, or you feel more relaxed, things like that. When you hear music you don't like, or whatever it is, whatever form of art, you feel more closed. You feel less like moving. You get more tense. You're having less fun, less engaged. Right? That's your inner audience member talking to you. Here's a definition of playing from the heart. Playing from the heart happens when you listen to your own inner audience member as you play. Playing from the heart happens when you listen to your own inner audience member moment by moment, note for note, move for move, word for word. Listen to the impact of your inner audience that these gestures and words and sounds have on your inner audience member. That's playing from the heart. Playing from the heart doesn't have anything to do with your interpretation of the piece, actually, in a sense. It's not like having a predetermined interpretation. So it's not like you're going to suddenly have necessarily sentimental or voluptuous kinds of performances. It could be that your inner audience member likes that stuff, or it could be that your inner audience member likes something that's more pure and clean. It in a sense, it doesn't really matter, as long as you're listening here. So, very basic technique is pay attention to your body here. You can't really see my gut, but it's like your heart-gut area. Pay attention as you listen to what you do, or as you sense yourself in movement. And just notice what comes up. It's kind of like a wishing well. You throw the note in the wishing well, and you see what comes up, moment by moment. All right? So the reason this works so well is how this transfers to your audience. When your thought is got to get it right, that's the signal your brain sends to your body. Got to get it right. And your body gets tighter, and it comes through in your sound or in the quality of movement that you have for your dance or whatever it is. And then your audience picks up on got to get it right. Right? And then their inner audience member is going to say, ugh. Right? And it's kind of boring to get it right, right? It's kind of boring to get the notes right. Doesn't matter how fancy it is. I've seen so many technical masters, people who you get paid a lot of money to play in front of people, and I'm just totally unmoved by what they do. I just don't care. And it's because even though they're world famous, they're still just trying to get the notes right. And that's boring. And it's got to be boring for the performer. I'm sure you've experienced this. And if you're bored, that's coming through in your sound, and your audience is going to be bored too. But if you are playing from the heart, if you are, in this experience of wonder, like, well, what's going to come up next? Who knows? I don't know how I'm going to feel about this next thing. Wow, and how is that feeling going to guide my playing? So there's this sense of curiosity and engagement and deep listening to yourself. That's the hallmark of playing from the heart. Deep listening. Like, wow, what's going to come up next? Then that sends a very different signal to your body, which creates a very different sound or quality of movement. And then your audience picks up on that instead. And because you've been listening to yourself, and because you have this sense of wonder and receptivity, then your audience is going to be drawn in to what you're doing. They're going to be drawn in, like, oh, what's happening here? Wow, this person isn't doing something like predetermined. There's this like spark of life there. Like, wow, what's going to happen next? So in this way, I believe that artists are leaders. I'm a musician, so this is the example I keep coming back to. So if I'm up on stage, and if I want to give my audience an experience of being transported, then I need to transport myself, or I need to be transported myself. And the art of playing from the heart is learning how to do that. Because then I can guide my audience into that experience. I'm leading them into that experience. And that can be like a miracle for somebody in the audience. It could be like a miracle for you too, as a performer. The more miraculous it is for you, the more you allow yourself to be moved while you play, the more your audience is going to be moved while you play. And that's what we want, right? And that's where the soul force is. You invite your audience into an experience of soul force when you play from the heart. I believe that this is our great duty as performing artists, to create miracles for people this way. Okay, so here's your homework. Get to know your inner audience member through listening to some music, if you're a musician, or whatever performance you like, and just notice your body. Very simple. Do you feel more open, more closed? Do you feel more engaged or more bored? Is it more pleasurable or less pleasurable? That kind of thing. All right? And then bring that to your craft. It could be practicing a scale, playing a scale from the heart, or a song, or whatever it is that you're doing. Listen to your inner audience member. Let that guide how you play next, not the predetermined, gotta get it right mode. Try it. Let me know how it goes. Okay, well, we are definitely past my intended amount of time for this item. There's so much more I could say, so stay tuned. I'm going to be saying a lot more about playing from the heart as we go along here. Yeah, subscribe for more. If you want updates on my book, you can go to my website, daysofsoulforce.com, and sign up for my newsletter. You can go to my blog there as well. We'll have lots of insights. And not just like mind insights, but like heart insights, soul insights for how to craft your life as an artist so that it's the most life-giving experience. So practicing is a life-giving experience. Teaching, performing, composing, whatever it is, becomes, it's the whole thing has an orientation towards what is life-giving. Because that's what the world needs right now. It needs us to come alive in ourselves. That's what's going to just stop all the madness. When more of us really come alive in ourselves and know it, and can stand in that aliveness amidst the craziness and the madness. And that, my friends, is what Soulforce really is. Okay. See you next time.